We're less than a month away from the official start of college football. The Sooners take the field in Norman for their first game. That'll be August 30th at 6 p.m. OU will play Louisiana Tech in their season opener. Head coach Bob Stoops says he has high hopes for this season's team, especially quarterback Trevor Knight and Crimson and Cream favorite Blake Bell.
Trevor Knight is the man now after that amazing performance in the Sugar Bowl. When he was named starter last year, you introduced the quarterback run game, and obviously he was very good at that, but he carved up Alabama throwing the football. So are we going to see run game, or are we going to see passing game out of Trevor?
Well, Trevor, he's working on being the man. He's not the man yet. Right. So we've had a lot of real ones at that position in particular. So
I'm going to guess that'll make the paper tomorrow. So.
But we love him. He's a great worker. He did not only play really well in the Sugar Bowl. He played really well away from home at Kansas State, a team that was on a 6 or 7 game winning streak. Played lights out in a 25-mile-per-hour wind. He played well until he was hurt against Oklahoma State. And then, of course, we went into the bowl game. He got all the reps. We knew this was the angle we wanted to play. With him in the game and running the ball and throwing it. And so now 2 things, with him getting all the snaps at number 1 through all of last spring and bowl game as well as summer, all of this, and the fact that he's freed up with Blake Bell, who is a year older than him, and they're good buddies. They really supported each other well. He has a great home at tight end. It is going to be fantastic for Blake. So now he's free to be on the team, a leader, the guy. There isn't any question about it. Getting more snaps at it, repetition, and he's only a sophomore, so he's gonna grow from the experience from a year ago. So we do expect a much more consistent quarterback.
I'm gonna ask Coach one more question, and then I'm gonna throw it out to you. So get ready to raise your hand. Talk a little more about Blake, because you have seen him and we haven't. So talk about the transition.
It fits him perfectly. He's a natural tight end. He's got the size, 6'6". He's whatever cheeseburger he ate, 255 to 260, depending on how good the meal was. He runs well. He's got soft. All quarterbacks have great hands. He understands the position because of the position he played before that, where he needs to be in routes, and he's a tough guy. He blocks really well. He's got the strength and the size to block well. So. And it's in his genes. His dad was a tight end in the NFL for 8 years. So it's really a perfect fit for him, and I think it's going to really add to our offense.
Practices are underway, and in the coming weeks we'll have numerous updates about OU football, as well as interviews with the coaches and players leading up to that season opener. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are gearing up for their first big matchup of the season. Oklahoma State hit the gridiron in preparation for their game against Florida State. That'll be August 30th in Dallas, and we got a sneak peek of the Pokes in action and heard from the coaches about their hopes for the season.
Not knowing exactly what to do all the time, but I love the way they ran from drill to drill, and I loved when the ball was in the air, or the running back had the ball. I loved the way we were chasing it. So it's, you're in shorts, not a lot you can tell, except if you really want to establish the tempo of what you want out of practice, and your expectations out of a practice, and I think we did that.
Looking at your position group in particular, the young guys, correct me if I'm wrong, they look like what you want them to look like as incoming freshmen. They're pretty good looking.
Yeah, we're pleased. That's like the first step. And at least I'm not sitting here saying physically these guys aren't going to be ready for 2 or 3 more years. We couldn't afford for that to happen. And they took care of their business this offseason. Rob and his guys did a great job, and the kids came in with a great attitude. So I think physically there's some guys. Now again, until we put pads on, we really won't know if they have got the toughness that's needed to win at this level yet. And that's a process. We just have to speed up the process of a lot of these guys real fast.
How much did you guys being around them in the summer make a difference today?
We actually talked about that the last few days, and it made a big difference. Just an hour meeting a week to be able to watch the tape and watch cut-ups from the spring and last fall. Here's what this guy did, here's what's wrong. Then they go out on their own and they could go through it. And then the next time we met, there's issues that say, Coach, what happens, and what happens here and what happens there. So that was invaluable. It really, to me, it's almost like taking care of 2 or 3 practices. And because of what we have, as far as new guys having to be a factor, it was tremendous this year.
See anything out of your young safeties today that you liked?
Yeah, again, just the effort and the tempo. I enjoyed that. I think that's fine. Of course, we'll have to correct them on some of that too. But shorts, it's just hard to say. We'll watch the tape here now and come back this afternoon and meet as a staff, and we'll kind of discuss some of that. But I love their energy. I love their juice. I love the leadership out of the few older guys that we have, and that's huge for us.
The Cowboys were in danger of losing several hours of practice time this season due to poor academics over the last 4 years. However, the NCAA dropped the sanctions when they found a football player from the 1990s who'd returned to school and recently earned his degree. Academic records of Larry Masecki had not been included in the university's original report.
We were getting ready for bed and watching the nightly news, 10 o'clock news, and happened to be watching the sports, and the story came on that a player from the 90s had recently graduated and lifted the restrictions for the Oklahoma State practice time, and wasn't sure if I heard the story correctly, so I hit rewind and watched it probably 3 or 4 times, and then I explained to her the situation on the news and exactly how it worked out. And I asked her, I said, I wonder if that could be me, and she was dead set. She says, it's got to be you. How many players from the 90s recently? I think it came in a big white envelope from the Oklahoma State Bursar's office, and I think there was a stamp on there that said diploma inside, do not fold, or something like that. Opened it up, and sure enough, it was this diploma that's sitting right here.
Man, I cried.
Much to my mother's disapproval at that time, but go back and finish college. And what happens with Oklahoma State and the football team is just icing on the cake. I am honored that I am able to help the team, being at my age of 41 years old. It does have some impact on some people, and it does feel good. Again, all I did was leave school early, and move to Austin, Texas, and pursue some business opportunities, and I went back and finished.
I don't understand it all that much. All I know is that, he kept his word and he promised that he'd finish, and he did, and the timing is just strange how the timing has worked this way.
Today, Masecki is the marketing director for the Whitten Newman Family Foundation. It's a nonprofit based in downtown Oklahoma City. He oversees a number of charitable organizations that help everyone from impoverished children of war in Africa to Native American students in Oklahoma. 2 different cuisines merge at a new restaurant in the Metro's Asian district. Coming up next on NewsOK TV, the spices and offerings that set La Brasa apart. And this former Marine is on a mission. The reason behind his cross-country journey still ahead on NewsOK TV.
Shooting more photos at each assignment, but we're putting those into separate galleries that can be added into the iPad and online editions so that the viewers can see a lot more photographs. We can tell a lot more of the story visually, give them more detailed shots, more overall shots, just a lot more variety that really enriches their experience.
The flavors of South America and the Far East merged together on Classen in Oklahoma City. The Brasa Peruvian Kitchen was created through a partnership with Camp's owner James Vu and the chef behind Inca Trail. Food dude Dave Cathy and I recently visited the new restaurant to learn more about the new concept and, of course, sample some or a lot of the menu.
I'm Dave Cathy, the food dude, and I'm sitting here in a sea of satiation. What's around me was a beautiful array of dishes, Peruvian style, Asian style at La Brasa. Well, it's all gone now, and here to tell us how it all began is owner James Vu and his chef, Neil Zambrano.
La Brasa is primarily focused on a Peruvian cuisine. Peruvian food, I guess, is a fusion of 500 years in the making of Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, African, Italian. So a lot of the dishes that you see in Peruvian cuisine, it specializes, involves some of those other cultures.
We have they call like pollo a la brasa china. We have a rostizo, a Peruvian traditional chicken, rostizo chicken with a basket called like herbal basket with different sauce for the Asian sauces. But I have almost like 9 different sauces with the chicken, and also we have the cibais, and also we have the tiradito, the traditional tiradito.
A lot of those dishes are very unique, but when Neil and I collaborated, being in the Asian district as well, we wanted to show respect and pay homage in this area by incorporating some Asian dishes as well, Asian spices, in some of the Peruvian dishes that Neil already did. Some of the newer dishes that we do is the hamachi, which is the yellowtail, the miso glazed sea bass, which is a Chilean sea bass, marinated 24 to 36 hours in a miso marinade, and then cooked over hickory wood.
We have a tuna ceviche with a little bit of ponzu sauce with spices from Peru.
Why is ceviche so special? Talk about the connection between ceviche and Peru.
I mean, the ceviche is very traditional. I learned the ceviche when I get 12 or 13, when my mother started getting, cooking. The ceviche is a plate very fresh, very healthy.
One of the staples of Peruvian drink, their national Peruvian drink, is the pisco sour. Pisco is a brandy made from white grapes. What we do is we infuse some of the piscos. We do a lychee infused pisco. We do a pineapple, a mango, a passion fruit, and the newest one that Neil and I are working on is a chicha morada, which is the purple corn, of course, pisco.
When I start with Inca Trail, I would start like Inca Trail like 4 years ago. To start getting to people know about the Peruvian food, it's slowly getting better and better. I met James, and James told me to open the La Brasa. So we try to get La Brasa a little more upscale restaurant, and Inca Trail like a more like family, or more like a focus American and a Peruvian community too.
One big thing about having camps here is it's an institution that everyone in Oklahoma, I think, is familiar with. So when Neil and I collaborated, and we wanted to make something that was unique, that fit the Peruvian schemes, but at the same time also fit camps. So, the biggest thing was really to find out what we wanted to keep, what we didn't, in order to preserve the history of the building. So we took the natural wood floors, we kept that, the original ceiling, the light fixtures, we did that. We just took out the white globe and put in the new vintage bulb, which still is trendy, but at the same time preserves classic a little bit. We wanted to make something really comfortable for individuals, clients when they came in and ate, whether it's lunchtime or dinner, just something comfortable, but at the same time good cuisine. Yeah. And our slogan here is come for the food, stay for the fun. We do weekly, nightly events, ranging from acoustic music to live music to DJs. So we just wanted to make this area fun at the same time, with La Brasa Peruvian Kitchen and camps.
So let's see, the fish was good, the lettuce wraps were good, the chicken was good. I'm not lying. Everything that we tasted that day, and we tasted quite a bit, was really good. I would recommend the rotisserie chicken. If you go for lunch, La Brasa offers several sandwiches, including polo a la brasa banh mi. The restaurant is open most nights except for Wednesdays. That's when the dining room transformed into a dance floor. Oklahoma Shakespeare in the Park has found a new home in the Paseo Arts District. The theater company has been searching for a permanent space since its Evan Theater was destroyed by fire. Twice. Steve Blackmeyer and I spoke to the company director about the recent transition.
The question is, where haven't we been? We started in Hafer Park in Edmond 30 years ago. About 2 years later, we built our own stage. About 4 or 5 years later, that stage burned down. And then we rebuilt it. And about 2 years later, that one burned down. So we moved to UCO. We were there for a year. And we knew that wasn't going to be our permanent home. And about that time, Jim Tolbert and the Myriad Gardens Foundation was looking for an anchor tenant to put in at the water stage. So we moved in 2007. We had our first season down at the Myriad Gardens. We also had our offices, and we did our indoor productions at Stage Center. And we all know what happened to Stage Center. It flooded. Our office, when we walked in the door, furniture was floating along. All our archives were destroyed. Thanks to Allied Arts, we're a member of Allied Arts, and they took us in for a year. We officed there. Then we're taken in by our offices at the Fred Jones building on Main and Classen. And then last fall, we found out that Fred Jones building is going to be turned into a gallery/hotel, which will be great for downtown. But we had to find another space. I talked to Robbie Kenzel with the city and told her our dilemma, and she said, "Have you ever talked to Joy Reid Belt?" And I said, "No." And so she set up a meeting, and Joy and I went over to the Plunge, which the history of the Plunge is pretty exciting. Her late husband, John, was really committed to that space. It's a fantastic space. And she took me down to the basement where she thought our offices might very well go. And the basement is finished. It is a large space. She said, you could have your offices here and you could do performances. And I thought, oh, this isn't a performance space. The ceilings are too low. And so she took me up to the ground floor where she had gallery space kind of roughed in, and she wants a coffee shop because, for the area. And then she just offhandedly said, let me take you upstairs to the third floor. So I went up to the third floor, and we're in a freight elevator because that's all we've got there now. And we're going up, and as I look out, I see these huge ceilings, and I'm thinking, what is this? Because when you're outside, you can't imagine what's inside. And we got out of that freight elevator, and I stepped out into this huge, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a warehouse. The ceilings have to be 30, 40 feet tall. It's mammoth. But John was an actor. And I think in the back of his head, he must have been thinking that, because I know he and Joy often talked about the spoken word being in that space. I said, the only thing I can see here is a theater. She looked at me, and I continued my tour. The time I got back to her, she said, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Yes." She said to me, "When you said that about it being a theater, all I could think was, thank you, John, for sending her to me." And I got teary-eyed, and she got teary-eyed, and I mean, the rest is hopefully history.
So the massive space they eventually hope to move into is the Paseo Plunge, which is just north Paseo Drive from their present offices, and that place is huge. I'm not kidding. It looked like a big parking garage in there, but she wasn't lying when she said she thought they were 30-foot ceilings. It's a massive space, so that should be pretty cool to see what they do with it. Coming up next on NewsOK TV, several months and thousands of miles with a long journey still ahead of him. Why this former Marine is marching across the country. Coming up next on NewsOK TV.
Social media gives readers a voice that they can interact with us in a way that I don't think they've ever been able to. And it allows us to, include their thoughts and their questions and everything in our content.
Whereas we used to just publish and just tell everybody what the news and entertainment and information was. The rest of the world wants to engage. They want to talk back. They want us to talk back to them. They want insight, they want opinion, and a lot of that is new culturally for a newspaper.
The concept of the What's It Like is that we want to explain basic medical procedures to our readers. There's been a lot of interest in the series. We'll have people who write me who have had something done, but they didn't know that was how it was done because they were asleep. I've had people who have the procedure done and they'll write me and say, yeah, that's what happened. And so it's been really interesting.
Some students return to the classroom this week, and it won't be long before other children across the metro head back to school as well. Thanks to dozens of volunteers, a number of students will be receiving new backpacks stuffed with new school supplies. The bags were part of the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren backpack giveaway hosted by Sunbeam Family Services.
We have a wonderful partnership with several different organizations to bring together backpack supplies and backpacks to grandparents raising grandchildren. We provide this every year. This is our 14th year in doing this. We partner with Triad, Oklahoma City Police Department, and Oklahoma City Sheriff Department and Midwest City Police Department, along with the Recyclers Association. Watching everybody just get a kick out of filling the backpacks and getting the supplies together. We organize the supplies in 3 different grade levels, K through 3rd, 4th through 8th, and then 9th through 12. And watching them get together and just pull everything together is really fun. You can tell that the atmosphere is quite fun today. It's amazing because this Thursday we'll actually be having the grandparents come here and pick up the backpacks. And they'll oftentimes bring their grandchildren with them. And watching those children's eyes light up is phenomenal. We did a survey many years ago and found that there are 2 times of the year that the grandparents really struggled. It was Christmas and back to school, all the expenses. So this really helps offset that. And the kids get a brand new backpack out of it. Last year we gave away more backpacks than ever, which was 502 backpacks. We're shooting for a greater number than that this year. There's still time for approximately 60 individuals to sign up. If there's interest in signing up, please call our main office at Sunbeam and we'll be happy to get you on the wait list.
The backpacks were distributed to families later that same week. If you'd like more information about the backpack giveaway, you can call the organization or visit their website. That information is listed at the bottom of your screen. With an American flag and a good luck stuffed elephant sticking out of his backpack, former Marine Justin Cool is making a cross-country trek to help raise money for 2 charities. Cool's fundraising journey will benefit 2 groups dedicated to helping veterans. Our Kyle Hinchy and Alex Strom caught up with the Ohio native as he was making his way through Del City.
I'm walking from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina to Camp Pendleton outside of San Diego, California. It's a total of 2,753 miles, and I'm raising money for 2 different veterans organizations. One that helps with no-hassle mental health care for veterans, and the other builds modified vehicles for guys that were severely wounded over there. I started May 23rd, and I hope to be done the 2nd or 3rd week of October. It just seemed like something that would be easy to do. Not as easy as I thought, but 2 years ago I walked from my house in Columbus, Ohio to Arlington National Cemetery to raise money for the Wounded Warrior Project, and that was such a successful, positive thing that I kind of wanted to duplicate it on a larger scale. Meeting all the different veterans has been really great. Meeting different combat veterans from different wars and then from Iraq and Afghanistan as well has been just a really awesome experience.
Now his goal is to raise $100,000, and so far he's raised about $35,000. July 28th marked the halfway point of his trip, and of course, Cool hoped to have been halfway there and have raised $50,000. So if you'd like to help him reach his goal, you can visit the March Across America website. That address is at the bottom of your screen. These paintings are on display at the Paseo Arts District. Coming up on NewsOK TV, we'll introduce you to the artists and tell you where you can find these unique works. series of abstract paintings are currently on display at a Paseo art gallery. And while the art may not seem particularly unusual, the painters behind the work are not your average artists.
Well, Art Gone Wild is really a collaborative effort between the zoo and local galleries here in Oklahoma City. It started off with the In Your Eye Gallery, and this year we've moved to AKA Gallery in the Paseo Arts District. And our idea really was, we think of nature as art, for one thing. Animals are art. And then the fact that our animals can also paint, which is enriching to their lives, just seemed like a natural fit. Enrichment is something different, unique, that maybe our keepers introduce into the lives of different animals here at the zoo. They do it in every area of the zoo. And it could be a unique food item, something different in their habitat, painting, but something unusual that they do periodically that's enriching to them. What's also great about this program is that all of the money that we're able to raise goes to our conservation initiatives. And we've been able to support projects that we support around the world, from Ecuador and Sumatra and Africa to even some of the projects right here in Oklahoma. And that's near and dear to our hearts. Those of us who love animals and habitats the way that we do, it's just a match made in heaven. They have fun, and the keepers have fun, and then they create these unique pieces of art that people can take home or give us gifts and know that they're also helping the zoo and conservation projects. Art Gone Wild this year is the entire month of August, and it kicks off for First Friday, the Art Walk in Paseo at the AKA Gallery, and you can check out their hours online at okczoo.com. I also suggest you follow the zoo on Twitter or Facebook, because we post some of the artwork. You can get a feel for what you can see. Something also that we do, if you don't get a chance to see the animals painting here, we'll have QR codes and videos so that you can check out different animals painting and learn more about the conservation projects that we work on. So it's very exciting. It's fulfilling for everybody that's involved, and we get so excited about it.
Our Alex Strom shot and edited that video, and once the painting that you saw there was displayed and on sale, she purchased the painting created by one of the zoo's elephants. All right, that's all the time we have for this edition of NewsOK TV. You can find all these videos, plenty more online at newsok.com. Have a great week, everyone.